Hi, it's Michael here from Better Small Business Solutions, and today I'm going to talk about a thing which I see in surveys a lot, which really bugs me, and it's that question that says, on a sliding scale from 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend insert business, product, service? That sort of question. You know, you've seen it. It's everywhere. Going to be a bit controversial because everyone's doing it. Heck, even the survey design template providers, you know the ones, have something similar in their products. It's everywhere and it bugs me. I really wish you'd stop it. And here are my reasons. Reason number one, it's a nonsense question. I don't believe the question is actually the right question to ask. Look, I'm going to go through the little story at the moment. Just before Christmas, I signed up to a social media platform, and yeah, going really well. And about 2 weeks later, I received an email with the quick survey. It was one question, and yes, you know what question it was. How likely are you to recommend said product? I answered one. No sooner had I finished the survey, I received another email asking me what was it that I found so wrong with that product that I would give them such a low score. Thing is, there's nothing wrong with the product. I like the product, I use it, I will continue to use it, but I generally don't go around telling people about it. But surprisingly, even for this stay-at-home recluse, I speak to people. As a surprise, many people. But of all the topics I am going to talk about, rarely would the subject of someone else's product or service comes up. It's a niche thing. Uh, Number two, the question isn't really the right question to ask. Now, just like the example above, if you want to know if people like your product, ask them that. Do you like the product? Please stop trying to infer that recommending is liking, if that's what you're doing. Reason number three, the numbers are meaningless. Let's have a little think about this. What does a 1 or a 10 actually mean? Does a 1 mean that you're never ever going to recommend the product? Does a 10 mean that you're the sort of person who's going to go from person to person and say, hey, look, I bought this? You know, to any poor person out there who'll listen, gee, I bet you, if that's the case, I reckon 10s are going to be fun at parties. What does a 5 mean? That midway response, does it mean you don't really care either way about the product? Or does it mean that you'll only recommend the product when you think it's wanted? How do we know the difference? Can we know? Are the increments between each number equal? Does the person who responds to a 2 over 1, their likelihood factor exactly the same as the person who responds to a 10 over a 5 or a 4 over a 3? How do we know? It's going to come down to interpretation of the person filling out that questionnaire. Now, there is a good chance that a person who responded with a 3 is just as likely to recommend a product to another person who responded as a 5. But we don't know. It's going to come down to the person who's actually filling out the form. And we don't know. Now, it's for these reasons why I believe the numbers are meaningless. It also gives a bit of inconsistency. Now, look, I could go on with the numbers, but there's a lot of other reasons to do with the numbers and the maths. It's all very nerdy, and do you really want a statistics lesson right now? Probably not. So I'll stop talking maths because I think there's a better way. look, it's my professional opinion that instead of using numbers, use your words. Well, look, when I design surveys, I I use a combination of responses, such as things like very unlikely, unlikely, neither unlikely or likely, likely, or very likely, or mix them around, combinations, those sort of things. I've also been able to use things like more likely or less likely. It depends on what the actual question is and what I'm trying to find out on behalf of my client. Um, look, it's been my experience that people have a better collective understanding of what these terms mean as opposed to a numbering system. I think you get a more consistent answer. And that's the thing with survey design. You want to be consistent, especially if you're asking two or more questions very similar. So what I'll do, I also like to frame the question so there's no ambiguity. Ambiguity? Yes, ambiguity. To the situation that the respondent may be in. For example, I'll ask the question, when talking about X, how likely are you to recommend insert product? That sort of thing. I'm not going to give examples at the moment because the ones that spring to the mind are for my clients, and I don't really, and for some of the surveys I'm designing right now, and I want to keep that as a bit of a secret. Yeah. Look, it's depending on the client. I may even ask, look, when talking about X, are you more likely to recommend A over B? Look, I believe these types of questions leave little doubt in people's minds what it is you're actually asking. And that's what it is. You want the respondent to have a clear indication of what you want from them, and I believe that words help help them give you the answers, especially over numbers. Numbers are confusing. So please, if you want to know how likely someone is going to recommend your product, your thing, your service, by all things good and decent, please don't use numbers, use your words. Okay, that's it. Thanks for listening to my rant. I'm Michael from Better Small Business Solutions. Thanks for your time and happy researching.